Hello. So this means you're not in class and you're watching this lovely video. I've put my camera on this, so that makes it way more exciting for me. And I took my mask off, which makes me in violation of codes. No, there's nobody near me. There are people listening, however. So let's talk about RAM and ROM. RAM is random access memory, and ROM is read-only memory. So random access memory is the memory your computer has. It's generally contained on chips that hold the memory, and we'll talk about where those fit. And there's a bunch of types, and you see some pictures there on the screen. So RAM is the memory your computer has to run the programs. Because programs require access to continuously changing data, that RAM stores that. ROM, read-only memory, is used in the computer, and it's usually on chips built onto the boards. And it contains instructions for the computer on how to locate various devices like the hard drive and the CPU, and it helps the computer really get started up. But read-only memory, by definition, is very difficult to change because it's supposed to be read-only. Now, DIM and SIM. You're going to see a lot of DIM and SIM. And DIM and SIM, without going too complicated, comes down to two things. This is a SIM chip. And it has memory modules, inline memory modules, only on one side, whereas a DIM chip has it on two sides, or dual inline memory modules. So on the computers we took apart in class, we had a RAM chip and we pulled it out. And it's this here. This is exactly one of those. I'll put a piece of white paper, well, maybe if I have one, behind it so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. And you can get a little better idea of what's going on. You'll notice that there is a notch on that chip. That notch helps us identify what type of RAM it is, and that type of RAM helps us know which type of computer we can actually use it in. So on your motherboard, on your computer, there are memory slots. These hold RAM chips. And in those, there's actually a small notch in there too. So that notch will line up. And you can line up that notch. I'm trying to do this backwards here. When you can line up that notch with the notch in your RAM, you'll know you have the right RAM. And this just simply fits in to the notch. And generally, you push both sides of your thumbs, and it will lock into place, just like it's done now. When you need to release it, pull both sides, and it'll pop out of place, so you don't have to work hard at it. If you ever see anybody pulling hard at their RAM, it means they haven't unlocked it, and they're going to damage it at some point. So finding the type of RAM is really a matter of looking at those slots, but I'm going to tell you an easy way to do that here in a second. So we call RAM volatile memory. Oh, I'm sorry, what type of chip do you use? These have DDR2, not DDR3. I wish they were. That goes back to the last one. These are older computers. So RAM is volatile, meaning if you turn the power off, all the memory goes away. Whereas other types of memory, your secondary memory, is your hard drive. When you turn that off, it retains all the information on the drive, or flash drives, they retain that. But why can't your computer just use a hard drive? The truth of the matter is the hard drive, even an SSD drive, is too slow to operate the computer at its maximum efficiency. And since we like to do video games, we like to do graphic programs, if it's constantly slowing down, it's going to make us unhappy. That's why I can't use a hard drive. So how much RAM do you need? Most computers will not run on less than 2 gigabytes of RAM. There's a lot more that run higher. Just to fire up a computer, you really need something with 2 gigabytes. In today's, yes, interruption from the audience. In today's computer world, 4 gigabytes is really kind of the minimum because you can't run many applications on the web, movies and stuff. At 2 gigabytes, it's just not going to work. So we go back to what kind of RAM is this? Probably the easiest way in the world to figure out what kind of RAM you are is look at the label on your RAM and type that into Google or Amazon. That label in Google or Amazon, I like Amazon because it's pretty fast. Somebody out there is selling exactly that. It'll come up with the full specs on that. It'll tell you what kind of RAM it is, whether it's DDR2, 3, We're now to DDR4. I don't have examples of DDR4 because it's expensive, and right now it's expensive. What is the maximum RAM you can run on a 32-bit processor? For those of you who have older computers, a 32-bit processor can't operate on more than 4 gigabytes of RAM, which means it's not going to run well movies and other things. Most of the computers now are running on 64-bit, which will allow an extreme massive RAM to be plugged into it. Well, that's it. You'll see 2 links on the bottom. Both are from Computer Hope. They will definitely help. Bye.
Yes, Amazon is so fast.